Is the audience? All right, and go.
It is not the truth that matters, but victory. This is a famous quote said by Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was involved in World War I and was a very powerful and persuasive man. I learned talking with you that you would like to know more about how Hitler gained this power. In my speech, I am going to include how he gained this power. I have always had an interest in the Holocaust, but have done little research on the man behind it all, Hitler. Today I will discuss Hitler and his experiences in World War I, also how he became so powerful and the techniques he used. Let's start off with Adolf Hitler's life during World War I. Adolf Hitler was a soldier in World War I even after moving to Munich in May of 1913 to try to avoid it. Being in the war gave his life direction unlike art. Before moving to Munich, he moved to Vienna at the age of 18. He was going to pursue art, but was not accepted to Vienna Academy of Art and the School of Architecture. He then embraced war and started to get interested in politics. This interest came during World War II. Hitler was a brave soldier and received many awards. He was the rank of corporal and was wounded twice in 1916 and 1918. He was blinded by mustard gas and taken to the hospital. At this time, Germany surrendered. At the end of war, Hitler was emotionally devastated. Hitler struggled going back to civilian life. Being a part of the war was the only time he felt like he fit in and was comfortable. He does not function well in civilian life. After the war, he was going back to nothing. He had no job or any career. Since he did not succeed in art, he had no career path. His service in the army changed his religious beliefs. He committed to anti-Semitism and issued his first written comment on September 16, 1919. He defined Jews as a race and not a religious community. Hitler said the Jewish presence was like a sickness in the people, and the goal was to remove Jews altogether. Now I will explain how Hitler gained so much power. Adolf Hitler had an exceptional amount of power. He started off as Chancellor for Germany. He had more followers than the previous Chancellor, and this persuaded the President to appoint Hitler to this position. The President did not want to make this change, but because of the amount of followers that Hitler had, he had no choice. Ernest Röhm started opposing the Nazi terror tactics. Hitler executed him without trial, and this gave fear to the people and intimidation. He then became dictator after having 90% majority. Hitler brought Germany out of the depths of financial ruin. He promised them a strong and stable government. He helped Germany rebuild their economy. They called this the economic miracle. He always reminded the people of this, just so they knew who brought them out of this economic disaster. When he changed things, they believed he was a savior. Some wondered if this was really a miracle or if propaganda was used. Now that I have talked about how he gained power, I will tell you techniques he used. Adolf Hitler used many techniques to gain this power. Hitler used propaganda to gain new members. Propaganda is information intending to persuade or convince people on ideas or causes. They used newspapers, leaflets, and poster campaigns with simple slogans on them. They also used rallies to gain support. Rallies are large gatherings for political purpose. They used banners and marching bands, and these rallies were broadcast on the radio and had thousands of people attending them. They also used very good speaking skills that appealed to patriotism and promised to break free of the Treaty of Versailles. The Treaty of Versailles was a peace settlement signed after the end of World War I. He also used another appealing technique, which was the end of reparation. This was paid for by German government. France was a country being paid because Germany was the sole cause of World War I. This was called the War Guilt Clause. The German people were happy when this ended because it was their tax money being used to pay for France. He created a new, larger military which would create jobs. This was appealing because there were many people out of jobs. Hitler changed many policies to manipulate people's thinking. These things made it look as if unemployment rates went down. These policies showed that he had power to control things and make things look better than they are. These policies were that women were not included in the unemployment statistics. Also, if you were work shy, which meant you were out of work, you were put in concentration camps, and you were no longer a person, you were known as a number. Also, the Jewish population lost their citizenship, so they weren't included in these statistics either. We've just explored Hitler in World War I and his power and techniques. Adolf Hitler discovered his passion for war and felt like he belonged in it. He was a very powerful and persuasive man. Hitler was very good at gaining power and keeping it once it was gained. He knew the right things to do to maintain power when it was granted to him. In my introduction, I mentioned some of you wanted to know how Hitler gained so much power. I hope I gave you the information you needed to answer this question. I hope I covered everything well and you learned something new. Did you know that Adolf Hitler never set foot in a concentration camp, nor did he talk about it openly?
Wow. That's very good.
Nice.
Thank you.
Still same audience here.
Yes. Here we are.